trying to save money for people on
Oversight.
Call this meeting to order, 10 a.m. Roll call, sir.
Commissioner Buck. Here. Commissioner Gallo.
Here.
Commissioner Cave. Here. There is a quorum present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please come with us today and help us do the best for the county that we can. Be with us as we go along with our family after, and just take care of us. Help those in need, dear Lord, and guide us with your wisdom. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. The consent agenda is on the board. It's been published. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Extension quarterly report. Boy, you're right up there. Come on up, Kendra.
It looked like there was some other stuff up there in front of me.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. While you're handing those out, there was been a question. Do you know if it says that your report needs to be done quarterly, or it has to be done on the first of every quarter?
It is more of just a courtesy. Quarterly is fine. It does not have to be done the first.
Well, we were talking, usually the first one of the quarter has so many things on the agenda, we don't want to shorten yours, that we might be moving to the second Tuesday of that month, and give you the time, more time allotted than saying, hurry up, we got 10 things on the agenda today, go, go, go.
That would be fine. I understand.
With that said, hurry up, we got 10 things on the agenda.
I understand. All right, I'm not going to read it all. If somebody wants a copy, there's some extra copies up here. Our 4-H youth program has just wound down with kind of a culmination of our livestock and some of our other projects at the county fair. It was nice, decent weather at the county fair. It didn't rain. It was amazing. So we did have a new project. Well, I say new. A kind of a revamp project. Our poultry project was really a big hit, where kids sold a pin of 3 broilers at the fair. And so we had 30 youth participate in that. 13 pins sold at the county fair, which was amazing. If you also look on the back part, or down further in the general programming, we had 121 items sold, most of those being livestock, for $166,000. So we really had excellent support from the businesses. The kids really got rewarded for working hard, and if you were here, we appreciate you very much so. They had 4-H camp at Hahn State Park, and 59 campers learned about a ton of stuff. It was a great, they had 3 days planned, 1 day got rained out, so 2-day camps, and great participation there. And participated in county Country Days Parade, and then 2 kids will be going from St. Francis County to Missouri S&T for aerospace camp. So we're getting a little bit of variability. It's not just focused on livestock, we're getting a lot of other things going on in the county for 4-H. The livestock side of it, you can see some averages for our Show Me Select Heifer sale. They were a little down this year, and so hopefully this fall in December, when we have our next sale, we will have better prices. The next sale is December 10th. And did some Show Me Quality Assurance training for our youth. We do that in culmination for their livestock projects at the county fair. And they have to go through this care and programming to help care for their animals and realize when there's a problem. And then grazing schools. We had grazing schools that teaches participants how to do management, intensive grazing, basically chunking up their farms and how to manage their animals on pasture. And then finally, for some of our general programming, the building exhibits at the county fair were just outstanding this year. We had 320 projects, and that's just the youth projects. That's not including open entries. And if you look on the back, Alyssa is our nutrition program associate. She does excellent work in the schools and with our food pantries, and you can see she's reached, from April, May, and June, reached 3,700 kids in that programming, and some adults. So, any questions?
You've been busy.
I just got a quick one, because somebody was talking, are some of the cow-calf operations so dry that they're going to have to start
The rains helped a bunch, and the rains are so spotty. Some places got 2/10, some places got 3.5 inches. It was crazy, the amount of spotty. We were on to the point of where we're in a D1 drought situation, it goes up to D5. And so what happens is when we get to that D1, it progresses pretty quickly. The problem is the next 3 days are gonna be sucking that moisture right out of the ground, and we may be back where we were. So it's critical. Pastures are drying up, and hay, it's on the verge of feeding hay. So cow calf producers are struggling.
But she's really good, let's see her do something about that.
I don't think I can do anything about that. Maybe help them keep them, but I looked at the West Plains sale barn. They had over 6,000 head because they're so dry down there. We're just liquidating
We'll get rid of
animals.
them.
So if you see her go out in the lobby and do some kind of dance, then we'll know she's.
Yeah, that was it. And hay supplies were probably 2/3 of what normally is cut this year. So
Mine was down.
yeah, struggle.
Sure.
Okay.
If you have a drought situation, let us know. Please report it. It helps keeping those records and maybe some assistance to those farmers. Because they don't always know in Jeff City what it's like in here.
Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Thank you, Ken, I really
That's
appreciate
enough.
it.
I'll pass it
Perfect.
on.
Appreciate it.
We don't want you to have.
Okay, we need to go into the vacation series here. Mr. DeBlois, and I think I misspelled the name.
It's the
DE, right? Okay, Mr. DeBlois here?
Yes.
Okay, come up to the mic, please, and talk to us about what you need done. And there's a pointer right there if you want to point to the areas on the map.
Yes, so I was requesting to have this particular alley right here closed off. It's in East Bon Terre. It doesn't lead to anything. There's another alley that's already been closed off back here, and it runs through my property, which are these 3 areas here. And it doesn't really serve any purpose anymore. It's never really been used, at least not in my lifetime. And just looking at it closed off.
Can you tell there's an alley there? Are there ruts in it or anything like that?
There's no ruts. You can tell like there's an opening there. There's like not a fence or anything, but as it gets further back, like up in this area, like there's a fence right here, and this is kind of just pasture now. So
Fences across it?
there's a fence right here,
Okay,
yeah, and there's another one back here.
okay.
However, up in here it's open, but it's kind of overgrown a little bit. But there's no ruts or anything. It's not been used ever in my lifetime.
Okay, these 2 properties up in the front, do they use that for any kind of access?
They do not. These 2 here,
Yeah.
they do not.
So no one, as far as you know, needs that alleyway for any purpose? Okay. Any other questions from anybody?
No gravel on them, they're just basically bare.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is the start of the vacation process, correct?
No, he was here 3 months ago.
Okay, so this is the end of this vacation
Wait,
process?
his is first. No, that young man was here. This one is just
Okay,
starting.
now we're talking about this one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
his is just starting.
Okay.
He
It just starts, it'll have to run for
So
90
we'll have to
days.
post it.
Yeah, we have to post a sign.
Going
Both.
back to the original question, is this the start?
It is the start.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Start.
So that means we have to put up a
Let's start over.
posting sign.
This starting.
And there's a 90-day process. We wait and see if anybody complains or has comments. And then if there's, at, the beginning of the next term, which is, 3 months from now, then we will officially make that decision. So that you'll see a T-post and a sign hanging on it, driven in the front of it, and then they'll post it where?
Be the first post office and use it like the local grocery store.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 places that put the sign up.
Publicly.
Public places.
Yes.
So that'll happen, so you'll see that going on.
As well as online. It'll be on our
Okay.
site.
All right. Okay,
Also online.
so, and do I have your name misspelled correctly? Do I?
You do.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that.
D-E-B-L.
Yeah.
Good boy.
D. Floyd, okay.
Close.
Okay, okay, well, I moved you up in the alphabet. How
Sorry.
about
Yeah.
that? Okay. Okay, so, do I have a motion to begin the vacation process for this alleyway in East Bon Terre?
I'll make a motion to start the vacation process of the alleyway.
Second?
I'll second that.
Questions or comments?
And of course, Road and Bridge will, be responsible for all the postings and
Okay,
the notice.
And on that notice, what does it say I'm supposed to contact somebody if, how do I contact
We
somebody?
normally have contact Road and Bridge, and then if we need to convey this to the commission, we will.
Okay, so that's the normal, and it's on the
Yes.
sign.
Yes.
Tell me how to do that if I don't want to.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so all in favor?
And Road and Bridge is familiar with this area, and we know that it's never been utilized.
In my lifetime, even this year, in his lifetime, my lifetime.
All a bunch of kids. Okay, okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor of beginning this vacation process, please say aye.
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 Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. B. Blois, okay, we appreciate you.
See us at the first meeting in October.
And he doesn't have to come in for that unless he
Not
wants.
necessarily.
So, you know, if it's an inconvenience for you, you know, whatever, it's up to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next vacation item will be Mr. Morgan.
How are you?
Good morning.
Okay, this is 3000 Highway 221. On the left-hand side here, you can see that, can't hold it straight. So we want this big part here, and then it also shows it comes with this part here in the middle, and then there's an unopened street and all kinds of stuff in here we're trying to vacate. That way we can get it surveyed and use it all as one property. It's not a whole bunch of different parcels or tracts. Right now it's set up as a subdivision, and there's tons of different tracks, which makes it confusing. So it'd be easier just to have it all as one parcel to be able to use.
Same question as before, is that visible as an alleyway? Can you tell that's what it is?
No, sir.
Okay, and you don't know of anybody using it
No,
without
sir.
access?
No, it's been overgrown since I was a kid, probably 20 years at least.
Okay, are there any houses or property along that property that might use that, or,
No, sir, not that I know of.
okay? So in your mind, that's just unplatted, or it was platted but not used?
Yes, sir. You can see all the properties around it. Somebody's already done a whole bunch of work in vacating all those roads that were around it. So I guess this is the only one that they didn't want to work on. So I'm here to do that.
Okay, and so this, again, is the beginning of the beginning. I'm getting full agreement over
The
that.
beginning, yes.
Okay, this is the beginning of the vacation process. You heard what we said before, it'll be a 90-day process.
Yes, sir.
It'll be posted in 3 places, including on the site. And then people will have a chance to call Road Bridge and say, I don't like that idea for whatever reason.
Thank you.
Or I do like the idea, whatever, comments accepted. So then in 90 days or the beginning of next term, then we'll meet again and we'll act.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this or?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we begin the process of vacation of the unopened street in Doe Run. Do I need to mention his name on this?
Yes,
On the James Morgan property.
second?
I'll second that.
Question? Okay, all in
Thank
favor?
you.
Yes, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Comfort, we've got another vacation issue here.
Yeah, this is my second time here. So I'm also requesting vacation of some alleyways that are pre-existing. I own these 3 parcels, here, and here. I'm asking for these alleyways to are vacated because they're not being used. Everything's overgrown. Wood's probably for the last 60 years. The guy who owned this property that I purchased it from lived in Kentucky. He's told me he hadn't been here in over 30 years. So that's what I'm asking to be vacated, is just these sections here that would connect these 3 parcels of property together. Nothing to do with the existing road that the county takes care of, that is right here.
Okay.
Now, Logan, am I right? You've already been in and done this. We're just finalizing this.
Yes.
He has already
Yes.
done this previous, so we're just finalizing.
This is
We've
the
already
end of his
posted.
90 days.
Yeah.
Okay, and my question is, again, there's some properties right here on Long Road, and I think I was on down, there's some.
Yeah, this road continues around this way, and there's a couple houses back there.
Right.
Use that screen up in the
It will
top
not
right.
affect their access to any property back there at all.
No, sir.
No.
No,
Nobody's affected by that.
no, sir.
No, because that's a county road.
Okay. Now,
Long
this
Road
is
is
the end of the
county.
process. Have we had any complaints or any comments?
Just the one lady that I think spoke to
She
you
just
guys.
come in
She
to verify,
misunderstood.
she was getting older, to make sure if it's vacated for the deeds for her kids, to make sure to process the deeds. And I think we advised her that that would probably, if something happened, as they changed, that they could do it later on.
And her concern was that we were vacating Long Road, which
We
is
were
not,
not.
which is not the case.
Because it would basically trap them in on the backside.
She was a little confused.
When she left, was she, happy with the,
This was from you guys, we haven't talked.
Yeah, she was satisfied. She found out it wasn't, and when she
Yes.
found out it wasn't.
okay. So basically, we've had no complaints against the vacation.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, and this is the end of the process. So
Correct.
do I have a motion to vacate that part, I don't wanna say of Long Road.
Don't say the alleyways.
The alleyway off
Near.
of Long Road
Yes.
and, in the Logan Comfort property.
Will there
I
be
will-
a legal description of that, so this is the final approval? Will you have legal description of anything which we're talking about?
We have no legal description of Long Road, it would be on each person's parcel,
Okay.
deed.
What,
I just don't wanna get an argument
How
5
about
minutes
you,
now
Jay?
saying
What-
what was said.
what happened?
What was said. That's fine, just your final approval
It was
to
found in a title search.
vacate.
Like they would have to, you would have to contact the title company to get that vacated.
For the valley, for the
Yes,
alleyway.
or he would have to.
He would have to,
Yes.
yes.
And
So,
then it would
Kim-
change the legal.
you don't see any, so we can go ahead.
So the recorder's office is happy with that motion?
Okay, so I'll make the motion that we finalize vacation of the alleyway on Long Road in Hurryville for Logan County property.
Second?
Not Long Road.
Near Long.
Not
Near
Long
Long Road.
Near Long
Because
Road.
Long Road is still ours.
Yes.
Okay. Nick, did you have a comment? No. Okay. Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second, yeah, I'm sorry.
All in favor, aye? Wait a minute, any comments, questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Yeah. There we go. Now, it's James time. Come on up.
If I may begin before.
Okay.
James speaks.
Preliminary speech.
I'll cut you off. This is a process of Indian Creek in which 3 months ago, this process was started to move this end of the road up, and we were going to construct a new turnaround, and because the same landowner on both sides, and we're gonna move that end of the roadway back. It should have ended today, as Mr. Comfort just did, with what we posted and what we've done. However, in the process of doing this, it has changed ownership from Glenn Miller to Jane and Larry Epstein. So I think, and it's up to the commission's desire, that we probably need to start this process all over since we have a new landowner. And nothing will change as far as what was going to be done, but I didn't know.
The names have
legally-
changed.
the names have changed in ownership, so I wanted to say that before, Jane.
Well, I was
You just
just.
took a speech.
Yeah,
That's
well-
fine, 'cause it's mainly as a verification of, we've had some information given to us, and so it was just a verification of where the line actually is, if it's actually vacated or not, so that's really
Okay.
our main.
And it's not vacated as of right now.
And in the
It
last.
would have been after today.
Yes.
Well, why?
So,
I
I don't know if.
Is that an issue? I mean, is that usual, you guys know anybody with the deeds or anybody?
It's
know
been
that's a-
posted and we've received no input one
Right.
way or the other.
But the
So
names
now we
have
just-
changed on it.
Just
I
leave
don't
the
know
same
if that's-
people,
think that
shouldn't put new signs.
should-
Is that what
that-
you're-
We just want to make it clear that the
Yes.
ownership has changed in the last 90 days.
Okay.
But
Unless the
properties-
new ownership has objections.
Well, and that.
But the
you know,
property is still the
Who is
same.
the new owner?
And do you have anything you saw?
So why you close?
All right, I got two.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is simply. At the commission's desire, we just wanted you to be aware that that's the case.
Okay.
Statute doesn't state if names are changed during the process.
Property that's adjoining there. Not
The
theirs.
current landowner desires to have the same process done as the previous landowner.
Is anything being done to their property that they purchased, or is it the land adjacent to it?
Okay, what do you mean anything?
So
being
right now,
done?
the turnaround is on their property, and it needs to be moved off of their property. The county
On
has
the
a
whose
turnaround.
property?
On the county maintained road.
So you've got enough right away to put a turnaround on? Okay. That's a surprise. Okay, Mark, did you have something? Okay, motion to begin the vacation process.
Actually, and if you'll let me, if I can say something.
Yes,
you want
go
me to
ahead.
rush just a minute?
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. But I would hate that you have to go through this process again if it's the same property and you haven't seen anything anything's out of the ordinary that we're talking about here. You've been,
No, I mean, he owned both sides, we own both sides
and you're
now,
buying
so-
exactly the same property he owned. So why would we have to make this young lady?
And Road and Bridge is willing to do this exact same thing that we were planning
Right,
on doing.
so why
Previously.
would we have to wait the three months? I think we ought to just, it's been up for
Go
3
through the
months and this is the
Say
process.
continue.
I say we just. close
Finalize.
it back, we finalize it.
You can finalize, you're not acting on the owners, you're acting on the property.
See
So
what I'm
it's,
saying?
that's up to you.
It'd be the same thing all over again. Nobody's come to us with any objections. The signs have been up for 3 months, so they'd just be up for 3 more months.
Harold, can't you just append, that the property has been sold, but put the new owner's names,
The vacation's the
agrees
same.
with it?
Oh, yeah, probably good.
Yeah, instead of.
Do I have a motion to finalize the vacation process of the, property in the Epstein neighborhood on Indian Creek Road?
I make a motion, we finalize the Indian Creek Road vacation, for the Epstein property.
Second?
I'll second that.
Question? Yeah, Rich.
As we go through the process, the question in my head is, do these roads that are vacated come off of the county's total mileage of roads that need to be maintained?
Yes.
Well, yeah, in this case, yes,
In the alleyways, no.
but the alleyways, it's not roads that are on our
Because you
list.
had never maintained them in the
Right.
first place.
And this is a small section that we will no longer
I
maintain.
think in all the other three, they were platted, but never developed.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Rich, the reason we're doing that, when basically GPS, there was tractor trailers pulling in here and trying to turn around, they would take a GPS and it's a dead end road.
Sure.
He was literally getting tractor trailers on his property.
Understood.
So that's why he moved on this before.
Because at
We're
one
just
time it
moving
was a through
back.
road.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
That's a good one.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor of finalizing this vacation process, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're done.
All right.
Appreciate it that way.
You're done.
Okay, refusal of bid, Nick.
It's pretty cut and dry. We're gonna refuse the bid for the 50 computers that we got from Something Cool. They don't meet our specifications. So that's pretty much the deal on that. I can explain if I need to what the specifications were that they didn't meet.
Rich, you satisfied with that?
No.
Nope. Don't ask.
My question is, since the bid did not meet the specifications, that was the only bid we've got, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So there's, knowing that there won't be an effort to rebid,
Not rebid. I think Nick can go on the market now.
but
sir.
when you say go shopping,
Mhm.
my former wife would eat that up like anything. But what does that now mean to us? Are there still specifications he must meet in looking for the computers?
Yes.
Yes, our regular purchasing routine is gonna call it that. Anything over 12,000, you gotta go through the process. And Lou, you wanna talk about that, or?
Well, to simplify it, Nick would like to uniform all the computers,
Yes.
and these not conform to your uniformity.
Exactly. We bid out for Dell Optiplex 3090s and a quoted Lenovo.
Louis, I think we're doing clarification on this point forward, what does he have to do, just go out and seek
He can
people
go
that
out
can
and
supply?
not purchase, but you can go ahead and shop.
Get verbal quotes, or written quotes.
Prefer written.
Yeah, I'll get written quotes from people and come back and go that way.
So this is a report, this is not an action or anything, so, thank you, sir. Good luck with your shopping.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Brian, we're gonna talk about some tuck pointing and cleaning of the annex building. Unlike Nick, Brian is happy with the bid he got.
I would like approval to tuck point and clean the annex building. $59,950.
Okay, and Mr. Eddings was here last week and talked about the process and the work. Sounded like he knew what he did, and I think he did the original building, right?
They've done the original building with Brockville.
Yeah.
So it's fit in our budget and everything.
Yes, I actually had a $150,000 budget
For this process.
for this process.
I'm glad you said that now and not before.
Yes.
It would've been $149,000.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to accept the bid.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for tuck pointing and cleaning of the annex building, from Eddings Masonry for $59,950.
Second?
I'll second.
Question? And he will spray it, and do you know when he can do the work?
You mentioned in a meeting in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I speak to him.
Okay, and what's gonna be, the building gonna be, anything happen to the people inside?
Not inside. It's gonna detour the public coming in, our employees coming in and going. Mainly cleaning, resealing around the windows and doors. The main things are cleaning, and we do have some cracks in the building, they're gonna address them.
And, gonna be scaffolding or cherry picker or?
You'll have to have some kind of lift.
All right, any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Brian.
Since this was a vacation agenda, I thought you were gonna talk about
Okay, now we need to talk about the TAP grant. And, one of you guys want to talk about this, or?
Well, the first thing we were gonna do is, basically award an engineering contract for the TAP grant, and this will be for the sidewalk, but it had to come in at under, $100,000, so, I was gonna make the motion that we award, we'd be awarding the engineering contract to TAP grant to, Cochran Engineering.
Second?
Is that right, Louis? Yeah.
Second.
I'll second that.
Question?
And I also want to make a motion that would be under the $100,000.
Rich?
I read in Mark Marbury's newspaper that the city of Leadwood was also talking about working on this same project. Am I correct in that? And they were also looking for funds to do the work?
No, it really, this is a separate project, Rich. And we did contact, Dave was getting some letters, we had talked to the mayor of Leadwood, but these two projects were separate. And I did talk with the superintendent, and basically, it was completely separate. It's what we're approaching and what they are separate. Now, in the future, what we are basically possibly looking at, we haven't talked to them, is if we have no assurance that we're gonna get this, we're just applying for it. So, being that this is on MoDOT right away, it basically, very seldom do you get this done. And they're kinda, MoDOT is with us on this because it'll be so safe for the kids over there, adults. I mean, it actually gives them somewhere to go that's safe. I mean, right now, they're walking in the highway.
No, I understand the point. It was just that in reading the article, it almost inferred the exact same project.
But theirs was, if you come up the road here where the B is at the very top,
Yeah.
city limits is about that sign there. So that's where theirs would go to, and ours would be an extension of that. Yes.
This is not, if I'm correct, this is not in city limits.
Yeah.
This project, and they
What we're
can't do
talking about
anything
is
outside of city
in the
limits.
county property, not in the city limits. We
So
would hope
it's
to be
basically a
joint.
complementary project to handle the same requirements.
Yeah, and-
Right.
And
Thank
part of
you.
the grant application encourages the continuation of that.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me clarify your motion here. It does, subject to appropriation, I mean, we don't have to pay this engineer unless we get the grant.
Right.
So you're subject to.
And it's basically for the county, it's not a
Just wanted to reflect that
municipality.
in the-
It's for the county, that's what this grant is for.
And am I right in assuming the reason this is being addressed through the county is that, is this not the only school that does not lie within the city limits in St. Francis County?
This is it.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think it's 75-25, right?
Yeah, it's a 75-25 match.
Okay, did I get a motion?
First and a second.
You got a motion and a second.
Okay.
So,
Question, any other questions, comments?
Gator second.
Okay, having no questions or comments, all in favor of awarding this contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, you gotta do a resolution of support for this project. Anybody wanna talk about it or read it or?
You've got the resolution up
Yeah, I got
there.
It is just a piece of documentation to be accepted with the grant for confirmation that everybody's on board.
Yeah, it just basically says, as Louis said, that we support the program. Okay, a motion to accept this resolution?
And I am gonna make a motion that we accept this resolution for the West County School Sidewalk Project.
On second, can you say the word whereas or somewhere?
Whereas I make a second.
There any questions?
I was gonna say, you want me to read that, I will, but there's a lot of whereases.
Any questions on it? Please, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we need to talk about extending the Smith and Company Engineering on-call contract. This is our bridge designer primarily.
That is correct. John Gross, Highway Administrator. We would like to extend the current contract with Smith and Company for our on-call services. We utilize them for in-house bridges or any bridges that the engineering and construction do not meet $100,000. If it goes over the $100,000 in engineering, then we can use the QBS, the quality-based selection. And these firms are already vetted through MoDOT. Since we are receiving the state and federal funds, we have to use an approved engineer.
In-house bridges, I thought all of our bridges were outside.
I would build some houses.
Thought I'd ask. Okay.
The contract price would be the same that we have on file now.
Should
The scope of services, the hourly fees will all be the same.
Motion?
I make a motion to extend the Smith and Company Engineering on call contract with Road Bridge.
Second.
I'll second that.
Question? Yes, Bob?
I understand it's to extend the contract at the same contract price?
Yeah.
What is that price?
I believe it's $120 an hour. Louis has a copy of it over in his office. It explains the scope of services, the hourly rates, construction testing. There's a few different parameters there.
Okay.
How long's the term of this?
A year.
1 year.
Any other questions? All in favor of extending the Smith and Company contract, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Assessor, you wanna come up?
Eric Dugan, Assessor's Office, approval of RFP to competitively bid the printing and mailing of assessment list for the 2023.
Okay, what else involved in this list? How many, what do they do?
Personal property assessment list.
Okay, so they print the forms individually. So they're gonna print mine with my name and my fee on it and everything. Okay, that's quite involved.
Total counts is about 26,000.
Of people, of accounts.
For the accounts.
Is that 26,000 mailings or envelopes?
There is 21,000 residential, 8,000 E5 postcards are sent out, and we had 7,808 that have e-filed for 2022.
In the history, how many of those come back in the mail? Is that a big number?
It's getting better every year because the company that we use right now, they have a program that they run with the mailing service to check for updated mailing addresses so that we can stay on top of things, because people like to move.
Yes.
Yeah, but it does happen.
It does.
E-files is what saves the county and all of us money, right? So the more we can get e-filed, the better, but.
Right.
And this is only for the 1 year, 2023.
In our bid request, there's an option to renew it for 3 years.
Okay. But we're going for 1 year.
Right.
With that option.
Right.
Okay. Okay, motion to allow for the seeking of the sealed bids for this job.
Make a motion, we, give the assessor permission to request sealed bids for the printing and mailing of assessment list for 2023.
Second.
I'll second.
Questions?
Eric, how many traditionally bids go in for this?
We've had 2 in the past.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, Louis, what, the audit report that's on the agenda?
Well, Commissioners, we were expecting our final draft of the audit for 2021 last Thursday, June 30th. And we got the initial draft, but not the final audit. And then on July 1, we were told that they were pulling the audit to review it. They do what they call peer review. So then all the auditors get in, they all look it all over and make sure everybody is doing the same thing and everything. And then we get confirmation this morning that they would like to withhold that audit for release because they want to review it some more. Initially, we were very pleased with what we saw with the final draft, but of course now it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. I thought page 54 was particularly interesting.
54 was really boring, page 54. Maybe we have 57 pages to review, by the way.
Well, I took this off with the last 2 pages.
I was like, wait, 54
And
was
the draft shows it extremely clean. So we'll see what happens.
So we're assuming it's still that one.
We're assuming that it's a clean audit, and it would be our second year, I believe, that there are no findings.
Third.
Third year. Okay. And it was particularly hard again this year because of the COVID money, the ARPA money, et cetera, et cetera. And then we've got a ton of grants out there, which is why Bridget and Amber get so cranky when you all don't do the grant applications correct and follow up on it. The Road and Bridge probably do the best job of taking care of it.
Hey, we don't even know when the vacation starts or ends, so we gotta talk about that.
I wasn't gonna talk about the county commission, but we're going to ask for permission to table this until we get the final draft.
Would you like to table it, or would you like to just get back with us when you want it on the agenda?
Yeah, we'll get back with you, and when they get back with us.
The table has to stay there until it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next scheduled meeting is right here next week, so hope to see you again. Other possible, anybody got any correspondence? Any public comments? Departmental reports. We have some beams on a bridge going up. Hey, there was a tractor trailer out there with some flat sections. Was that approved after?
Deck panels. They set those the same day.
Yeah, I figured they would, but I didn't get to stay around and see it.
And I would like to add, in the process of moving these beams, the city of Farmington was a tremendous help with their police department and their street department, because the beams had to be brought through the middle of town to get out there to Fredericktown. And, just like a shout out.
How far do trucks have to back in?
They did not.
They didn't have to.
They could pull
So you
in.
lifted over the cab?
Yes.
Yes, they lifted, they nosed the truck in.
There's a pull in just behind the crane that you cannot see. And a couple of the farmers let us use their fields. Rockmiller took their fence down. Luckily, they had the hay cut, fields were dry, so there was no impact.
Yeah, Kendra, the drought helped us on that.
Yeah, the drought.
Thank you, Kendra, we appreciate you.
But the truck and the beams together were approximately 140 to 150 feet long,
And
coming through town.
so the city of Farmington closed the streets, and they were a huge help.
I was intrigued,
So
this
process.
bridge sits at an angle across the creek, and I put this insert on here, that, see, that end is cut back at that angle. And so they designed all these beams, I guess the other end too, I didn't go.
They are.
But, just amazing how the design fits so well on the bridge, so.
The
anyway,
approximate weight of the beam was 86,000 pounds per beam.
86,000 per beam, so you had to have special permits for each truck.
Yes, yes.
All right, well, thank you guys, appreciate that.
And one other report from Road and Bridge, over the weekend, we had, 8 catalytic converters cut off of our vehicles on our lot. They cut the fence.
They didn't walk through the opening in the front where we're doing construction. They
I've been out there 2 or 3 times, you guys are gone, but I just drove in the front, so. Okay.
But it shows we're having more and more, where I lived over Crown last year, we had the same problem there. Another reason that we have to have more patrol people in the county sheriff's department to be able to put them in place to try to stop some of these things or respond, even if somebody would have saw them. Once again, the response time could have been 20, 25 minutes and they're gone, but then it only takes about less than a half a minute to cut them off.
Filing an insurance claim, and we're also, the deputies came to file the report once we get all the information together on what we've lost. But yeah, you're right, Mr. Clark, the additional law enforcement will go.
Dan, if I showed up with a trailer full of catalytic converters and a salvage yard, isn't that a little bit suspicious?
It would be, but there's some salvage yards that don't care, and they're outside our county. Our local salvage yards work very well with us, as far as stolen property, aluminum boats, brass, copper, that sort of thing. But there's some outside the county that, if you can get in there with it, they'll take it.
How much do they make off these things?
They're quite expensive, there's some value.
I mean, in the secondary market when they're selling them, though.
I don't know what.
I know they how much they cost to replace. They're
Right.
outrageous, and they make about 1/10 of what they cost to replace.
It's about $100 to $200
Yeah.
Per converter. It's about
Yeah.
1,000
Salvage.
to replace.
And it's 1,000 to replace.
Yeah.
Well, they're full of platinum.
They're making really
We've had it stolen off.
People out there that got stolen by the parking lot.
They've taken them off of police cars all over the county.
We had 2 repurposed police cars that they cut them off of this weekend.
Not while we got somebody in them.
Not while they sit.
Clarify that. Not while they're moving.
No donuts involved.
Okay, let's keep going. The Board of Equalization, at 1 o'clock today?
No.
It's 11
It's
o'clock.
11.
11, okay.
And then at
So
2 o'clock,
right
so
after-
you're
We're gonna,
recess and those 2 public information to, the Board of Equalization. 11.
So it's right after this meeting? and
That's
okay, I
correct.
think the 1 o'clock, okay. And so, do you know how many appointments we have?
Very few.
Okay.
There's only a couple corporations, I imagine there'll be a pass along that, otherwise they're gonna request that you refuse, they're not gonna request, but you're gonna turn them down and they're gonna appeal to the state.
Okay, now, I want to talk about the high temperatures we've had and the effect of the annex building. Brian has done an exceptional job of working with this building. I think we've talked in the past about issues with the thermostats and the control system. He's worked with it. It did kick down over the weekend and the building got hot, so it's going to take a day or 2 to get the building regulated, if you want to call it that. So after tomorrow, we'll decide if we're going to leave the rule in effect or not about the early closing of this building because of that heat. What happens is the air conditioner's working, but the distribution of the cold air is not appropriate, so not correct. So my office gets very cold, and across the hallway it gets very hot. And I think I saw Jane holding her, shaking her head yes on that. But anyway, others have really on that side of the building have kind of suffered on this. So we're going to wait until today and tomorrow. And go ahead.
So are you doing it, just clarify, you're doing a daily evaluation? Or are we back to your policy of if it gets, because it's supposed to go over 92 today, do we shut down at 2 o'clock?
That's what I'm trying to say. If at 10 a.m., which we've already seen, if the forecast for today was 92 or higher, we will shut the building at 2 o'clock. And that goes for tomorrow too. But after tomorrow, we will reevaluate that rule and see if the building is staying in working temperature, working range temperature, something that our people can withstand. And then if after tomorrow, we will decide about the rule, about whether to keep that rule or not. So that's where we are, and we had to make a ruling, and that's what with some help, that's what I came up with. So that's what we got, and that's the rule, and that's how we, any questions on that?
My situation is, commissioners, we went to some expense to install security in our office. so the general public could not access.
Now
to
the
the
doors stand
office.
wide open, yeah?
And now we have doors wide open, and I appreciate what you're attempting to do, appreciate all Brian's done, but nonetheless, you know, my office was 79 degrees before I came in here this morning for this meeting. I guarantee by 2 o'clock, it'll be warmer than that. I'm not complaining about the weather or the heat so much as I am about the security situation.
You don't know how we can amend that, there's no way we can move more area,
Because
without those doors.
where your doors closed, it would be much hotter
Yeah.
in your office.
Any thoughts on that, Brian?
Let me look. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
It's kicking off on high pressure. And I went around, I can control all thermostats before anybody had control. Now I got everything set at a certain temperature. And I'm using water. Everybody tells me to put the water, but the water on the coils is our enemy. It looks like a glazed donut on the bottom, then I'm not getting no airflow at all on the coils. I have the water running right now as we speak.
So if you're keeping the coils cool, then do you need the airflow?
Well, there's no airflow to lower the pressure down.
Okay.
The longer I use the water, the worse the unit is gonna be.
Brian, can you blow a coil if you freeze it?
I'm sure we can,
Yeah.
It's over my head. I mean, I don't know what, I called, one of the companies, our engineer firm got a hold of a company and they called me last week. Since I moved these temperatures up, but I did not lock them out. Today, when I came in, I locked them out so nobody can turn it down lower thinking they're gonna get cooler. I would rather have you a little warm than not, no cooling at all.
Okay. Well, for the next 2 days, we're gonna leave the rule as it is. And we'll talk, we're gonna talk about it again, probably Wednesday morning early.
If I come in at night and have it run all night, the trouble is it went off Friday night and I wasn't aware it went off Friday. I would've came in and everybody would've been
You were in
happier
Texas Friday.
today. Well, I would've came in over the weekend where it would've ran all night, but I wasn't aware it was kicking off again.
This man came back from his vacation early, by the way.
So,
So, okay.
Was it cooler in Texas?
nope, no cooler.
I've got family in South Carolina, and they're griping about the temperature there too. So. Okay, any other questions? Okay, there's the next sales tax report. It's not on the consent agenda yet, but I had the information. So you can see that graph, it's slowly going down, but it's still in positive territory. And we're still above, better than the best year we've ever had, so it's there. Anyway. Now, we're not going to adjourn, we're going to.
Motion, we go into recess?
Second?
Second.
All in favor of going into recess, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.